Did you know 70% of candidates struggle with complex scenario questions? In this video, we'll cover the top 5 Consul interview questions with example answers to help you stand out. But what would you do if a natural disaster strikes in your host country? Here's a question that really digs into your organizational skills. Tell me about a project where you had to manage multiple priorities. How did you keep everything on track? Interviewers ask this to see how you handle the complexity of juggling various tasks and ensuring nothing falls through the cracks. To craft a standout answer, begin by describing the complexity of the project to highlight what made it particularly challenging. Then, mention a specific tool or method you used to prioritize and track tasks, as this demonstrates a structured approach. Finally, include how you adjusted priorities as the project evolved, because flexibility is key in consulting roles. Now, let's hear how a strong response might sound.
In a consulting project for a retail client, we had to simultaneously optimize their supply chain and revamp the customer engagement strategy. I used Trello to create a dynamic task board, categorizing tasks by urgency and importance. As new data came in, I reassessed priorities in our weekly team meetings, which kept us focused and agile. This approach led to a 15% reduction in operational costs and a 20% increase in customer satisfaction.
Next up, let's dive into a scenario where your diplomatic skills shine. Today's topic is about conflict resolution through diplomacy. When interviewers ask you to describe a situation where you use diplomatic skills to resolve a conflict, they're really trying to gauge your ability to navigate tense situations with tact and poise. As you prepare your answer, consider these key points. First, pinpoint the core issue. Vague terms like disagreement don't cut it. Specify what the actual sticking point was. Next, highlight how you facilitated open communication to bridge gaps. This shows your proactive approach to resolving conflicts. And finally, mention the long-term impact of your resolution to show lasting effectiveness, demonstrating that your diplomatic skills had a meaningful and enduring effect. Here's what a strong answer sounds like.
In a project between marketing and sales, tensions arose over budget allocations. I identified that the core issue was a misunderstanding of each department's priorities. I organized a joint meeting where both teams could voice their concerns and work to find a compromise that involved reallocating resources based on mutual benefits. The outcome was a more cohesive strategy and an improved working relationship that resulted in a 15% increase in campaign effectiveness.
Now, let's explore how you navigate the diverse landscape of international stakeholders. Let's dive into an important question. Can you share an experience where you effectively communicated with stakeholders from different cultural backgrounds? Interviewers ask this to gauge your ability to navigate diverse environments and bridge communication gaps. Here are some tips to make your answer stand out. First, acknowledge cultural assumptions and adapt your approach accordingly. This shows your sensitivity and flexibility. Next, use specific examples of communication tools that facilitated understanding, like using visual aids or translation software. And finally, reflect on how the experience enhanced your cultural competence. Interviewers appreciate candidates who demonstrate growth and learning. Let me show you how to put this together.
During a global expansion project, I coordinated with stakeholders from Japan and Germany. Initially, I noticed that direct communication styles from the German team clashed with the more context-based approach of the Japanese team. I organized virtual workshops using visual aids to bridge these differences, ensuring clarity and mutual understanding. As a result, we met our project milestones on time and improved team cohesion. This experience taught me to tailor my communication style to fit cultural contexts, enhancing my ability to work across diverse teams.
You're halfway through. You've already tackled managing priorities and diplomacy. Let's keep up the momentum for the rest of these challenges. You're learning the questions. But knowing them isn't enough. Mock Interview Pro builds a Consul preparation plan. You practice answering out loud, get real feedback, and sit through a mock interview that feels like the real thing. Link in the description. Here it is, the question that trips most people up. How would you handle a natural disaster in your host country? Here's a challenging scenario question. Imagine there is a natural disaster in your host country. How would you coordinate the response to ensure the safety of citizens? This question is designed to assess your crisis management skills and ability to coordinate under pressure. To craft a compelling response, start by identifying specific local agencies crucial for immediate response, such as the fire department or Red Cross. Next, establish a real-time communication hub to ensure seamless updates and coordination between all parties involved. And don't forget to highlight your adaptability by mentioning a contingency plan, showing that you can pivot strategies as the situation evolves. Let me show you how to put this together.
During a simulated earthquake drill in my host country, I coordinated with the local emergency management agency and the Red Cross to establish an emergency response center. I set up a communication hub using satellite phones to maintain contact despite potential infrastructure damage. We implemented a phased evacuation plan, prioritized high-risk areas, and continuously adapted our strategy based on real-time updates. This ensured that evacuation was efficient and minimized risk to citizens.
Finally, let's tackle handling a potential conflict of interest with integrity. Let's dive into another crucial question. If you discovered a potential conflict of interest in your work, how would you handle the situation? Hiring managers ask this to gauge your integrity and problem-solving skills, especially when it involves ethical dilemmas. To craft a compelling response, start by explaining how you assess the severity of the conflict, as this demonstrates your critical thinking. Then, describe the steps you take to consult and communicate, because transparency is key in these situations. Finally, highlight your proposed solution and its impact, showing how you prioritize the organization's interests above all. Let me show you how to put this together.
In my previous role as a project manager, I discovered that one of our vendors was owned by a relative of my team member, which could pose a conflict of interest. I first assessed the situation by reviewing our company policies and potential implications. Then, I consulted with my supervisor and the compliance department to ensure we handled it appropriately. We decided to disclose the relationship to all stakeholders and switch to a different vendor to maintain transparency and trust. This approach not only resolved the conflict, but also reinforced our commitment to ethical practices.
Your interview is coming. Stop preparing alone. Mock Interview Pro builds a Consul preparation plan that adjusts to your timeline. Even if your interview is this week, it focuses on what matters most. Targeted practice, AI feedback, and a live mock interview so you walk in calm and clear. Start your preparation plan now. Link in the description. In this video, you learned how to juggle multiple priorities, navigate conflicts with diplomacy, and communicate across cultures. We also explored how to manage crisis responses and handle conflicts of interest effectively. You're now well equipped to tackle your Consul interview with confidence. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more insights. Go crush that interview.